Donald Trump's administration stopped hiding the racism a long time ago, and now it's flaunting it. They're separating immigrant parents from their children when Trump said ICE was only going after the worst of the worst. Elon Musk famously contributed his signature Nazi salute and often elevates white nationalism on X. And Trump's staff is busy trying to erase black history from schools, libraries, and military complexes. And just yesterday, JD Vance, who at times resembles an intellectual, reached for the bottom of the racist barrel with an insult. And today, the target of that insult has snapped back in a big way. And I have all the details for you next. For context, here's a quick clip of what Vance was referencing when he took the bigoted low road that I'll share in just a minute.
So last week, when I heard something so blatantly un-American from the Secretary of Homeland Security, a cabinet official, of course, I was compelled, both as a senator and as an American, to speak up. But before I could even get out my question, I was physically and aggressively forced out of the room. Even as I repeatedly announced I was a United States Senator and I had a question for the Secretary. And even as the National Guardsman and the FBI agent who served as my escorts and brought me into that press briefing room stood by.
News of Vance's comment came to me via a post by Call to Activism that read, "Major breaking. In a staggering, racist, and disgusting moment, JD Vance refers to Senator Alex Padilla as Jose Padilla. JD Vance is a complete embarrassment. Have a look and judge for yourself."
Lawmakers who keep getting handcuffed. The New York Times just did a story. They keep getting handcuffed, suggesting that the Trump administration is cracking down on Democrats. Can you comment on that?
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. You know, I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater. These guys show up. They want to be captured on camera doing something. They want to be able to go back to their far left groups and to say, look, me, I stood up against border enforcement. I stood up against Donald Trump, when all they're really standing up for is for drug cartels to run rampant over our country and sex traffickers to be able to continue to traffic little kids into our country. That's what you're doing when you stand against border enforcement. So I think these guys, we ought to laugh them out of the building. We ought to call them out for doing what they're doing, which is grandstanding. And if they want to work seriously on border enforcement and on keeping their communities safe, the Trump administration's door is wide open. But they're not doing that. They love the grandstanding. They hate law enforcement because they hate the idea of the United States of America having a border. It's a disgrace, but it is what it is.
Judging by Vance's smirk, obviously the question was anticipated or even planted, and that comment was carefully crafted. And the irony of him calling Padilla's actions theater. So what was Padilla's response? Have a look and decide for yourself who's being theatrical for the media.
Just want to say some things here. Vice President JD Vance served with you in the Senate for multiple years. He is currently the president of the Senate where you serve. He also went to Yale. I assume that he knows your name is Alex Padilla. Your response to him calling you Jose?
Oh, he knows my name. He knows my name. Look, sadly, it's just an indicator of how petty and unserious this administration is. He's the vice president of the United States. You think he'd take the situation in Los Angeles more seriously? You know, you think maybe he'd take a moment to talk to some of the families who have been impacted, have been terrorized, to feel what's really going on the ground. You saw him shaking hands with Marines, but did he listen to the Marines? Because we have, you know, report after report of the Marines, so many of the Marines themselves that don't want to be there. That's not why they enlisted.
JD Vance reached into the Donald Trump bag of tricks and pulled out a Make America Great Again dog whistle. Calling Senator Alex Padilla Jose Padilla wasn't just a racist cheap shot. It was a planned move to marginalize Padilla and score points with a base that thrives on grievance and white identity politics. The Trump administration may have laid the foundation by separating families at the border, whitewashing American history, and elevating white nationalism, but JD Vance is trying to finish the job by normalizing it in his calm but very calculated way. But Padilla did not take the bait. His response, "He knows my name," was powerful in its restraint. No theatrics, just a quiet gut punch to a man who clearly wanted a viral moment at his expense. Vance thought he was being clever. All he did is remind us that he works for the man who always goes out of his way to say Barack Hussein Obama, and it's not the side that is known for equality and anti-racist values.